Ashman finally.
Scotty.
Brandon Diplock.
Thanks, boys, for having me.
Brandon Diplock, mate, fantastic to have you here, buddy.
It's good to finally be here.
Dipper, how are you, man?
Woo.
Very well, mate, very well.
Welcome to the episode 10
10.
WhiteMagic podcast.
10.
Is this the best?
Fuck, I did
Double
past
figures.
five.
So
Yeah,
best
yeah.
for last, or?
Yeah, of course,
Best
this
for
is it. This is the
I'll
big
go
one.
with that.
And I've got to tell you right now, boys, the car park is back. Like, Pete is usually here by now, sitting down having a beer with us, but he's still out parking
I
cars.
saw him out on the road.
Yeah.
Yep, it looked busy.
And he's stressed. The first time I've seen Pete stressed, he's sweating. So, yeah, it's good to be here.
He's got a beer in his hand, though, so he's comfortable.
Poor bastard.
Pete's always got a beer in his hand.
Poor bastard. Big crowd. Look at him.
Fantastic crowd tonight.
Jesus.
Love you all here. I really do.
How did my mum get here? I said no parents.
No, because it's the sweetest man in garden, so we had to bring him. We had to bring him. And your kids are making it absolutely muck out on that damn court, man. Like, they've got to slow down, dude, because we're going to have to kick them out. Pete will
They're Pete's problem
bounce
tonight.
them, yeah, they'll bounce them.
Yep.
Well, here we go, Dipper. We've got your parents, John and Jen, and you were born 1979.
Correct.
Young one.
The day I remember, yep.
Which day was it? What day was it?
Oh, it would have been a sunny Tuesday, I think.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Hey, look, I want to take you overseas. I like to take most of you
Let's go.
straight over.
Can't do it anymore, can we? So.
No, we're all grounded at the minute.
Fast, yep.
So I think we can still do a few flights locally.
Absolutely, yep.
But not into Melbourne, mate. We won't bother.
Don't want to go to Melbourne. No.
Hey, let's have a look. I think it was 2003, 2002.
Yep, that's right.
You had a USA tour.
Yep. So I've never been on a plane before. I met my wife back in around 2000, and she's going to judge me on this. It's probably not. Around 2000, and she's a travel agent. So I've never thought about traveling before in my life. I've only been on a plane to Melbourne once. So I'm like, wow. And she said, "Do you want to go to America?" I'm like, "Let's go."
50 minutes to 13 hours would be a fair jump.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It was awesome.
So where'd you land? LA
So
or?
landed LA. We had a couple of days just to chill out, and then we joined a Kentucky tour. It was all pre-arranged. So the first night was in Anaheim. We caught up with all our friends. Well, we didn't know at the time, but got to a pub and decided to get to know each other night. Right, so playing pool and all that. Had a huge night the first night, and didn't realise we had 14 nights of this getting up and all that. Yeah, so fantastic trip.
So what'd you do? Anaheim straight into Disneyland?
Yeah, so we started at Anaheim, went to an Angels match that night as well,
Oh, nice.
which is good. $6. We sat up in the nosebleed section, and after about 2 innings, it was like a Monday night or something like that, we went down and got really good seats because there's no one there, and saw a great game. Can't remember the score or anything. It was one of those nights.
I did go to that stadium in 1984 with my parents.
Yep.
Well, we never saw a game there, but great stadium. Every stadium over there is great to see.
Actually excites me. You're like Brandon Diplock on a tiki door. That it would have torn it up, I would have thought.
I was spoken for that night, that week. We did, it was LA to the Bay. So LA, we did Vegas, we did the Grand Canyon. We taught the American tour guides how to play cricket, and made a carton out of a stick, and made a cricket bat out of a carton, and just tried to get them to bowl straight arm. Impossible.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
Can't get it. No. Yep. So, it was-
Keep going on that journey.
Yeah, it was night after night. Did Vegas. Vegas is the best place.
How did you get to Vegas from LA? Was that on a bus?
All on a bus. Yep.
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. The bus is going because you got to get a certain distance that day.
Did you get there in that day?
So we got to Vegas
Like in the
in the Arvo, yep. And we're there for 48 hours. We pretty much did the first 24 hours. Like, it was just insane. And then we got to bed and we thought, get a couple hours sleep. And literally 2 hours, had a knock on the door, we're going out again, let's go. So clothes on, and went straight back out. I swear they
Where'd
pump
you
extra.
stay there? Where'd you stay?
Oh, it was a Kentucky tour, so it's all budget. Like, it's no fancy. We were all poor. I was a fourth year apprentice or something like that, so I had no real money to my name, and Mrs. was a travel agent, so it was just...
Isn't it a fantastic drive from LA though? Like, you get so many landscapes.
Yep.
You're in a high desert. You're 4,000 feet above sea level.
Yep.
And you get through, you can see 14 miles or something in front of you.
Yep.
and then you get over that hill, and then you get another landscape. You go, whoa, look at this. You know, you got 14 miles to check this one out for the next, 20 minutes.
Unfortunately, Australia's got nothing to compare to like something like Vegas.
Not
Vegas.
It's just like a different entity.
It's like Cars the movie, isn't it? You know, like the landscapes are just so diverse, and you go, whoa.
But Vegas is, to me, is like you've got the strip clubs, you've got the gambling, you've just got the whole thing of like what stays in, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas and all that sort of stuff, and the lights. Yeah. Like I've never been, but that's one. Probably never get there with what's going on at the moment, but yeah.
We even had a mock wedding. We had a couple of guy and a girl, and they were both single, didn't really know each other. It was only like the third or fourth night in. And they got married. I think it was unofficial, but
please tell me it was Elvis.
It was. Who else is there? Who else is there?
I'm getting married one day. Elvis.
Vegas is good.
The king.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so you got out of Vegas and you went where?
So we finished the Kentucky tour back in San Fran. So LA to the Bay, San Francisco Bay.
Nice, good humidity there.
Yeah, beautiful day. Yep, Alcatraz and all the rest of it. And then we hired a car. So first time driving in America.
Oh yeah.
We hired a car in the middle of San Fran. And we had to get, the hard part was, we had to get across to the Golden Gate Bridge, all right? So we got Tess on the navigation. She doesn't know left from right to save herself, unfortunately. But it didn't matter because we're on the wrong side as well. So it's sort of...
You're talking about your wife?
Yeah. Oh. She's a lovely girl. She just doesn't... And no one's perfect. And she just doesn't know left from her right.
She was a standing nav, not a sat nav.
We can cut this out after, can't we?
No.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's going in. Definitely going in.
Awesome. Good material. Sorry, Pete.
Oh, Pete just walked in. Pete's here. He's here, finally parked the cars. Give me a kiss, Pete. Give me a kiss.
Oh, good to see you, mate. Oh,
good job, Pete.
Hey, soft lips.
Hey,
very soft.
It looks
hard
sweaty.
Man on the field.
Looks sweaty. A lot of cars, obviously.
Yeah,
a lot of cars.
I think you're just taking the crowd. You're just taking a break, aren't you? There's still more to
Rollers, Buicks. How many exotics in there?
So we pulled up to an intersection, and she's like, just turn here and all that. And then I got halfway across the intersection, knowing I was got to keep Tess in the gutter, like keep her in the gutter side of the car, and I'll be right. I'll be on the right side of the road. And I was driving around, and she's freaked out. So I second guessed myself, and I start turning the other way, and then. and then I'm like, no, I was right.
One of those trams coming through and it's like,
Yep. So we got around the intersection finally. People were just laughing, I'm assuming. Wish I had an Australian number plate I could put on my car. Then they'd understand. But unfortunately we did.
I'm an Aussie on the back windscreen, yeah.
Where did you drive around San Fran? Did you?
No, I drove straight out. I was getting out of town, man.
Where were you going from there?
Up to Seattle.
Yeah, that's right. Beautiful.
So all along the coast. It was an awesome drive. We had a little, I think it was a Mitsubishi Spider. It was like a little convertible car. We paid the extra money to upgrade it because the convertible,
And Seattle, I reckon Seattle would be a nice place, man.
Well, you're in Marty Hall's area now. You're up near Vancouver.
Seattle, and the big seafood markets and all that sort of through Seattle and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. No, beautiful. So we beelined it up the coast and kept on the right side of the road.
On the correct side. So you imagine Dipper's big left arm out the side of the car with the...
Yep. That was fantastic.
So how was Seattle? How was that? I haven't been there.
Oh, a lot of jazz clubs and live music was a big scene there. So we got a few nights there. We didn't know anyone, so it was only me and Tess at this stage. We've left our big crew of friends that had all disbanded and all that. So we made our way. And then we stayed there for about 2 or 3 nights. Then we flew over to.
What was a highlight in Seattle?
Oh, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. Was there something that stood out on that side of the coast?
Baseball game.
Sunsets in the morning are meant to be pretty good.
Went to a baseball game.
But what I know about Seattle was the markets and all that sort of stuff. Of course,
we went there very long. We went there very long. We stayed in town, got a hotel room sorted, and we weren't knackered after the.
You wouldn't have been up early anyway.
No.
Where did you go from Seattle?
To the Big Apple. To New York.
All right, so you flew out.
Now you're in
San Fran.
Yeah.
All right, you've flown in.
Now the questions are coming.
What airport did you land at there? JFK or?
Yeah, JFK. Yep. Again, it's just so much in such a short time. So we landed there. We stayed in this little. It was a backpackers. The room was probably the size of most toilets in a nice restaurant, a nice hotel. It was tiny. There was a bed. There was that much room on one side and that much room on the other side.
You were in Manhattan. Where were you?
Yep, right in centre of New York. But we paid for a location. We didn't spend hardly any time there. We were out. We walked past. We walked past the Letterman studio, and some people come out and they started talking to us. And like, "Oh, do you guys know Letterman?" We're like,
I said, "That's fucking Dipper! Quick, pull him down!"
And I had no idea, but the wife knew all about Letterman. So Tess said and answered these questions, and then we got tickets the next night to come back to the show.
Oh, nice.
We saw Lance Armstrong and I think it was Megan Fox. I think it was fantastic. So yeah,
job,
and next night.
A nice cheap night out in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
How many days in New York?
I was only about 3 or 4, so.
So you obviously did the big gardens in there.
Oh yeah, all the touristy stuff.
Nice.
Didn't get to a Yankees game because you got to be a VIP or be willing to put down $800 or $900 to go there. And that time we didn't.
And at the end of the day, who cares about the Yankees, man? No, sorry, Maz. Who cares about the Yankees?
Calm down, Maz. It's all right, man.
He's gonna get me for that. Thanks. No, that was great. So, and then we flew down to Greg's territory.
Down to Florida.
Down to Florida. Yeah.
What state down there?
Orlando
Or where
Miami.
the parks are?
Miami.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah, even
stayed in Miami.
south.
I reckon that's one place I'd really like to go. Miami. I reckon Miami would be really good.
Yeah. Got to the beach and it was literally like walking into a spa.
So you just whip your shirt off. Brandon Diplock got the guns out, the chest out, just walking around.
Yeah, 21-year-old. Yeah. And that was like really nice. And then we hired a car and drove down to Key West.
Yeah.
Yep. So I spent a couple of days driving down there and back. It's like in the Schwarzenegger movie where they go through all the islands. True Lies.
Yeah.
Yep. And we would come back. It was like black, like so dark. Like the weather was coming in, and we had the top down. And we're like, as soon as the car comes with the windscreen wipers on, we'll put it up, and we did. And then it come down, and I was like driving on these bridges between the islands. I could not see where I was going. I slowed right down, and there was trucks and everything. It was pretty scary. Yeah.
Where did that trip end? Did you go from there?
So we went back to LA, and we actually had a friend whose uncle had a house down, lived there. He lived in Beverly Hills, worked in Beverly Hills, and be lucky. And nice.
Just happens to work in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. And he had a nice house, and he took us around in his 7 Series Beamer everywhere.
Nice.
And we went to a Dodgers game as well.
Beautiful.
At the Dodgers Stadium?
Yeah, in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
So he dropped us off there and said, "Oh, you should be right, just catch a bus, train back."
I said to Connery when he was on how big the car park is there.
Yeah.
It just goes, it's endless, isn't it? You know, it's so big. Yeah. And then you get to sort of the oldish stadium. I think they're doing work on it now. I think that's all being rebuilt again.
But yeah, the car park. After Connery's thing, I actually Googled it and went, holy shit, that's a big car park.
That's one of the things I remember, you know.
Yeah. Yep. So we had to get back to Long Beach after the game. Now, I saw him in the park home run that day too. That was fantastic. I was about to go to the toilet and I was like, no, wait. And then the next batter in the park home run, I'm like, so glad I held that.
That's good. It's good to see.
And what year was this?
03.
03, yeah, nice.
Yeah. And as we were catching the train back, we're like, wow, this is actually a long trip. And we walked for ages to catch the train, and we're like, are we going the right way? And on the train, and we're cruising through, and we're like, saw Compton. I'm like, wow, you see that in all the rap videos and all that. We're like, wow, and there's all these African Americans, and they were all, just sitting there looking at us, going, "Oh, what? God, this is a bit strange." They're brave. So we just sat there and smiled and got off at Long Beach as soon as we could, because where we were staying was 2 streets back was Snoop Dogg's old territory.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful area at Long Beach where our mate's uncle was. And then 2 streets back was like scary town. So
just quickly, it's Snoop Dogg, not Snoop Lion. But it's all good.
So you wound up in LA, and then fly back to Oz and Aquinas, or what'd you?
Just Guanas, yeah. Yep, that stage.
That's a pretty good place, isn't it? Pretty good.
That was a
flight.
good.
Look, you might have spent a couple of years back in Oz, and then you went to Fiji.
Yeah, so
that might have been 2005-ish.
Yeah, so Tess was a travel agent again, and she just did up this little trip.
Good girl.
Yes, and it was only going to be for like 4 of us, and then we had talking to a few other people at the pub, and thought, oh, we should maybe go on a big group, like send an email out to everyone, all of our group of friends, and said who wants to come. And there was about 15 of us that all said, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, amazing.
So we started off in We flew to Fiji.
Nadi
Nadi Airport, yep. Very good.
The brain's
Nice.
The brain's pretty good.
And did a little tour there and stayed in nice and drinking kava and all that kind
The
of stuff.
cover good. That sort of numbs your mouth, doesn't it?
Man.
Oh,
It's like-
time out. Because I watch a lot of like cooking shows and I love my cooking and all that sort of stuff. So the kava's the actual native drink that they
Derives from a root, doesn't it?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
crush the
absolutely.
root.
and they
They
mash it
crush
up
it
and all the
down
rest of it. And like a lot of the Fijians and a mate of mine, Richard Wasley, if you're out there, they made a big pot of it the other day.
Yep.
And he had a rugby show where they were showing you drinking the kava, and I'm like, holy shit! And
Doesn't taste much, but
no,
it looks like you're having it through a sock.
yeah,
Get an old
yeah,
sock
that's
and they
yeah,
bring
that's exactly right. Yeah,
Have it in a bowl and you drink it nicely
Yes.
and traditionally and
But apparently, it tastes like absolute crap.
Tastes like Murray River water.
I think it tastes a little bit better than Murray River water.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. I've had lots of Murray River water in my life, so
I was about to say and we're going to get to that in a sec because I didn't realise you're much
Yeah.
the old wakeboarder and stuff.
yeah, that's a big part of my life.
Was that Fiji
So that
and
was-
Canada, or was that
Yeah,
just
so
Fiji?
Fiji, and then we went to Canada. So I went from nice tropical climate to minus
So
36.
in the same trip,
Yep,
you went
yep,
Fiji back
yep.
to Canada.
Yep. So we got there and we did a Rocky Mountain tour, which was 3 or 4 mountains in 5-6 days. You know, the big ones, Lake Louise, Banff, Whistler.
So that's on the west coast.
Yeah, yep.
Yes,
Vancouver,
Banff is
yep.
closer to Vancouver Island.
Yep. And we had some friends staying there as well.
So just for me, what year now are we talking now?
2005.
2005.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So you travelled a
awesome.
lot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, travelled a lot.
I started late. Started late. And then did that. That was just unbelievable every day. And I was saying it's a bad year. I mean, only had about 160 centimetres of snow. So we're like, that's pretty amazing back in Australia.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anything over a metre is just brilliant. So the soft powder just
White powder
Yeah.
everywhere.
Your son Reece is looking at going there once the world opens up again, if it ever does. But
so good. If I had new knees, I'd go tomorrow.
Just quietly, Reece. I hope the world doesn't open up so you can stay here with us.
So what else you do in Canada?
So yeah, did the Rocky Mountain tour, then finished off, and we had actually no accommodation booked on the last night. So a few of the guys got together, and we noticed there was a bit of a strip club down the road. which
Oi,
had
now
hotel accommodation.
now.
The girls had no idea. So we said,
Please tell me you stayed the night in a strip club.
well, Tess organised the whole trip for us every night, apart from this one night. We didn't have accommodation, so we said, Tess, we'll book accommodation. So we went and booked.
In a strip club.
Where else? It was clean.
It was clean.
It's a Commonwealth country.
It was clean-ish.
Yeah,
It
above the
was
strip
clean-ish,
club. Yeah. So we had to go down and look while we we're there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but then everyone ended up getting really sick because you're going from tropical climate.
Hang on a sec. Time out. Look, I don't call it a lot of time outs, but hang on a sec. So the only night that you and your mates booked a room above a strip club, you all got sick.
I was not a doctor.
Did you eat a meal in the strip club?
No comment. We were no. So yeah, no.
They ate a meal at the strip club and they all got sick.
All right. So
Right. So yeah, no. Everyone got sick because of the climate. Because we went from really warm tropical to freezing cold, and then we finished it off in Hawaii on the way home. Just a couple of nights stay in Waikiki.
yeah, Oahu, good man. That was
Yeah.
good.
Ride scooters and just cruised around the island.
Again, Brandon with his shirt off on a scooter.
Oh fuck it, the water would have been bubbling.
Just
wouldn't it?
bubbling as he was.
Yeah, what a good place. So I remember there just
Fantastic.
waiting in the water, and there were
Yeah.
2 of the stealth bombers took off, and my son was sitting there fucking around with his phone, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm thinking. The lifeguard thinks I'm drowning, you know. I'm saying, look at the fucking bombers, man. You're not going to see this in Australia. So he never saw them. You know, they were loud as fuck, and they took off, and off they went. But
Yeah.
Hawaii's a good place.
Hawaii's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like Thailand on steroids, I suppose. Like it's all just
Well, let's
tropical
go.
and
Let's go
fancy
there.
and all that,
Let's
but
go
just-
there. Let's go there next
Yep.
because 2008 you do Vietnam and Thailand.
Yep, it's part of the honeymoon.
Tell us about
Oh,
Vietnam.
honeymoon.
Tell us about Vietnam.
Vietnam's really, really heavily densely populated. Like it's a beautiful spot, real natural. A lot of sugar cane fields and
Little
rice.
Queensland
rice.
sort of-
Yeah, that kind of temperature and all that. All the houses are real thin, but you know, like 5 levels, and they have all the generations of their family in each of the houses. So
Because Vietnam now is very popular.
It's fantastic, yeah.
But now, like
Yep.
when you went, it was probably still a bit of a.
Yeah, back then it was quite raw. Not many people went there.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
now I've had mates go over
Yeah.
to Vietnam, and it's very
Very French. The French were there and they populated it early,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a lot of the buildings are very.
But when you went across it, that would have still been
Yeah.
a very
Yep.
not a lot of Aussies walking around Vietnam
Yep.
back then.
And the crossing the road was like the scariest thing ever. Like you're talking, you look right, and there are 1,000 scooters coming, right? And you're just like, how the hell am I ever going to cross this? And we saw some Australians, and like, wait, come over with us. And they just said, just walk the same pace. Don't look either side, just walk dead straight. Keep your pace the same and you'll be fine. And they do. It's like, and then they go around you. It's like you put a stick in the water and the water just goes around you. Like, you know, like it's insane how it works.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So what city was that in Vietnam?
Ho Chi Minh.
Which was the old Saigon, yeah?
I think so, yep.
Yeah, that's where the Americans withdrew.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
come out.
By helicopter,
A lot of
yeah.
history, a lot of history.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And beautiful spot. And then we went out to Ha Long Bay, hired a boat. We didn't hire a boat, it was a part of a tour. We had a captain and crew and all that, and there was about 20 of us. And yeah, just went 2 days out and 2 days back.
Yeah, nice.
And just so relaxing, just nice.
Yeah.
Just
Because my mates went over, I think it was 2018, I think, and they said it was starting to get commercial and still beautiful. You get to all the sites and all that sort of stuff, but very commercial. But when you went there, that was they were blazing the way for those guys.
oh, there's still a fair few Aussies, but
Yeah, nice.
yeah, but that was good. That was very good.
Any more in Vietnam?
No, that
Not
was
really?
about it. Yeah,
Good to
just
see.
Nice and relaxed.
Was
As
it
a
great
honeymoon,
to
you
see?
just had a nice hotel on the way back, but we really.
Did you go to
lived
Thailand
a
from
lot.
Vietnam?
No,
On that
separate trip.
Separate
Yeah.
All right, now we got. I reckon we might have a couple of Thailand trips.
Okay, we fell in love with Thailand. Yeah.
Now, Thailand sounds good. Now, I said to you before the interview, I think Thailand is muffless women, long black brown hair, beautiful shapes. I assume that's what's there.
I won't ruin it for you, mate.
That's not what he said before the show. It was something about little boys that tuck.
No, I fucking didn't. It didn't say that.
Places, but they're a couple of streets back from the main.
What's the attraction there? It
All right,
just beaches, beautiful.
Cheap. When we first went, it was a real cheap holiday. Like it was, you live like an absolute king. Like we had swim up bars and pool access rooms and all that for the price you pay for a caravan park in.
Middleton.
Yeah,
But the
exactly.
food and everything was just.
The
out of
food.
this
I love
world.
the further you go out, the more traditional food you eat, and it's just the best.
Yeah.
Real natural. You don't feel bloated like you do in Australia. Well, you do because you drink 21 beers, but because of the climate. But you can't beat it.
No, it's good.
Can't
man.
beat it. And
Thailand's one of the things I'd like to go and try. I think that'd be one of the
It's a lot more
places like
expensive
Bali.
these days.
Yeah, Bali I'm not interested in, but
No.
I think Thailand is one of the places I think I'd go because the food I love Thai
I think it's a better
food,
class, isn't it?
Thai
Bali,
food
I
and all
don't-
that sort
I
of
don't-
stuff, and I'd really like to try it one
we
day.
used to go out and the whole family used to eat, and it was $35 for Australian dollars for meals, beers, cocktails, desserts for the
incredible,
kids
isn't
and all
Yeah,
that.
it's just
and
nuts. Isn't it?
yeah, so you go to Queensland, okay, the flights are a bit cheaper, but you spend $200
Oh, easy.
on
Yeah,
that. Just
exactly right. Yeah,
that's only having 1 or 2 beers, not even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No cocktails.
yeah, no,
cocktails.
Yep.
2016, you head back to the USA.
Yes.
What's this one all about?
That was epic. So we went with another family, and they had 3 young kids, and we took our kids as well, and we decided to do the motorhome experience. So we've done the Kentucky tour experience. We did the motorhome experience.
Time out.
Absolutely.
This is one thing I'd love to do.
Yeah.
So you actually got to the airport, hired the motorhome, you
Yep.
get off the plane,
Yep.
motorhome's already there, and you just
Pretty
jump
much
in and
spent a
drive.
couple of days in.
Was it Winnebago?
in
What
Disneyland.
was it?
Oh, it was a big F450 truck.
Yeah, right.
But what I'm
So,
saying is you get in that truck and then you're on your own, dude. You just
You
go.
didn't even need. All you needed was a driver's license. You didn't need a truck license, and this thing's 30 foot long.
Oh.
You're driving like a
Big
semi-trailer.
And we've already found out that Brandon's wife can't drive very well.
No, navigate.
She,
navigate. Oh,
she didn't
sorry.
touch the steering wheel once. She was not keen. Sorry,
Remember, the
Tess.
driver's always in the middle of the
sorry,
road.
yes,
That's what
sorry,
you got to
sorry.
remember.
Yeah. No, so I had a little bit of experience, but then you're driving a truck.
Yeah.
So we went with our friends, and they took off first, and then
I said two.
Yeah, we had 2 of these 30-foot bloody buses. It was like driving like an STA bus. It was a very, very similar size.
Fuck, mate.
Yeah. So cruising along.
Where are we? What state?
So we started in LA, I believe. Yep.
All right, so you've come back to LA airport?
Yeah, back to LA. Everyone goes to LA. And then...
well, that used to be the only way into the country.
Yeah.
Now you can
right.
come through Texas and all sorts, and I think they're almost flying you into New York now from, well, not quite that far, but...
Yeah. So we, so did that. Did a couple of little towns. We did Mammoth, which was beautiful caravan park type setup, and it was top of the mountain. There was ice, so it was still, and it was summer, but there was a real delayed snow season.
Yeah.
So we went up there and we showed the kids. Kids had never seen snow before, so we saw that.
Yeah, nice.
Then the next day we went to sort of Death Valley, Palm Springs area.
Beautiful.
And we stayed in Palm Springs. So we went from about 17 or 18 degrees Celsius to 49.5 degrees in Palm Springs.
Again, Dippy's got his shirt off, just walking around.
I may be wrong. Death Valley is lower than sea level.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yep. And it
Snake
is
Valley too.
They got dirty water there,
just
mate.
so hot. Like good Australian temperature. Like, you know, we went
Yeah, 49. Yeah, that's average for us, isn't it?
yeah. But we come from
getting there.
we come from winters, so you know it's hot. And we stayed in a hotel and we were just swimming and basically all the time.
Yeah.
And then just kept going. Went to Yosemite National Park.
How good's Yosemite? You drove into the park
So,
itself.
bit of a
Yeah, with a 30 fucking foot truck.
So a bit of a backstory to
Unless you
that.
can knock the black.
Bit of a
bear,
backstory to that. Before we went on the trip, we based this whole motorhome experience on this Yosemite trip. So we had they opened up the parks. They opened them up at a certain time. It was like 12 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning on a certain day in the start of fall. And you had to get on and you book your spot, right? So we had 2 computers going, me and Tess, at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, all right? And we, as soon as they opened them, Tess wasn't, I was just like, go. We got one spot, but we couldn't get a spot together with our friends, and then we got this other spot, and then that spot went, and we ended up getting 2 spots together, and long story short. And it was just the best.
So how long were you there for?
So we're there for 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights, yep. And all your food and deodorant and all that has to go in a bear box.
The old bear bin.
The big square,
Can't leave nothing.
heavy duty box, And it's all these big wooden posts and all that, big scratch marks on it. And the bears are everywhere.
Oh,
What about El Capitan? Did you go and have a look at that face?
Yes. No, we didn't see that, unfortunately. Didn't go that far. That wasn't in the local area. If the kids were a little bit older, we would have done more hiking and seen a bit more. But we stayed fairly local and just did the local, very close stuff.
Awesome,
Kids are very young.
Awesome,
Yeah. Apparently 2 days later, after we left, there was Air Force One dropped in with a helicopter.
Is that right?
It was Mr. Barack Obama. Yeah.
Wow, how
2
cool
days
is
after.
that?
Because he was chasing Dipper. He was like,
Yes.
I heard
I
Dipper's
believe
here.
in Australian
I heard Dipper's here. Where is he? Had a 6-pack. Where's Dip?
Ready to go.
Yeah, we got there in December, sort of mid-December.
Yeah.
And we did go for a walk up to have a look at. There was one pond that was that reflective. It looked day sky,
awesome.
like landscape. And we took off pretty early in the morning, and I reckon it was about -1.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And we were dressed up, and we were frozen solid, until it got to 2 or 3 degrees, and you'd broken how cold off it gets. But the waterfall was running, and there are times of the year where the sun comes into a certain angle, and it actually makes the water look red.
Wow.
And it only happens rarely, but it's a wonderful place. When you wake up in the morning and you go, it's just so hilly. It's so high. It's 7,000-8,000 feet high. It's enormous.
Yep.
All right, let's wind up out of that one.
Yep.
You drove from Yosemite to where?
That was pretty much back. That was pretty much the end of the
back
trip.
to LA
That trip,
Yeah, back to LA, and then I did spend a bit of
That's a
time
good
in
drive,
spend a
good
bit of time
drive.
in San Fran after that. I got a Giants game and
Yeah, nice.
Giant Stadium, beautiful, isn't it? Down on
big
the
glove in the
water.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mhm.
That's a special place, I reckon.
Yep.
That's more like Oz too. It's just a beautiful
It is
temperature.
a nice
Because you love that, the home runs that go out to the bay and all that sort of stuff.
This dude's in paddle boats.
It's
It's
just impressive.
So we went down to the pier, as you do, you know, you see the fish markets and all that. And to the kids' surprise, we saw 50 or 60 nude cyclists.
Nice.
Yep. Ashton's like,
And
they're
you
nude.
and you were one of them?
No.
No. Nothing you organised.
If I had my kit already.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what your kids want to see. Is that you?
Yeah, they'd have thought it was unreal.
Oh, nice.
Yep, you don't see that every day.
No.
So,
Back in Oz, a couple of years ago, boy, you end up in Bali this time.
yeah, so I went over with the same friends again. Never been to Bali before. Just
So where do you land there? Kuta, is it?
yeah, Kuta, and we stayed over. Just away from the big smoke. So we went there a couple of times into the big city and saw the crazy times. But did Waterbomb Park, and that's Bali.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be
Would you
shopping.
spend a week there? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 9 days.
My brothers and that big surfers here in Adelaide.
Yeah,
And,
the surf's big over there, right?
There was a fella called Matt Waterman that was part of that group that used to surf all the time, and they'd surf through Middleton and Goolwa, and they'd been to Sumatra a few times. They'd done quite a bit of overseas surfing, and he was there at the bombing. Actually, he was actually in the building, and he went for a piss when it blew up, and allowed him to climb out of the window that blew up.
I had a friend from the Sturt Footy Club in the same situation. He was there that night. Yeah.
Crazy times, eh? Crazy.
And that, you're talking like a second out of your life, whether you go, they're all left or right. Where I'm not going to have a piss shot, I'll go to the bar, and then bang.
Yeah.
It's just nuts, mate.
Boom,
Absolutely
crazy.
nuts. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
We come back from Bali. She's got you there again, Thailand. Let's talk about it again.
Just another trip.
Just another relaxing trip.
Yep, went with Sharpie and his family at that time,
Yeah, nice.
Rudy. So that was good. That was relaxing, and Tessa's parents as well. They are fiends for Thailand. They've been there probably 30 or 40 times. They got friends over there, and they just keep going and going and going every year. Yeah, they love it. It's a nice spot. The locals are beautiful. Get to know some words and speak a bit of the
Wow,
language.
you got some flight time. I
Some-
love it. I love the overseas stuff.
Bit of Song Kai Dao. 2 fried eggs. Yeah. Yeah, and they love it. If you try to speak their language,
I thought he was asking.
Vietnam, they like
I
table
thought,
tennis. don't
I was about to say. I don't know what he was asking for, but it wasn't 2 fried eggs.
someone might have been setting me up. There's someone out there on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Working
Who
out
comes,
what
who comes back and it's, we don't want to know that. Don't let us know.
All right, you're due for another trip, I reckon. Hey, let's get back into Woz. Let's start to push into the sports stuff.
Fantastic,
Yep.
Do you want to talk about his knees first?
No, I reckon I've got his knees. I reckon that's coming up about third, man. I reckon it's about third. But
We have another episode for them.
Sure.
no, we're not. No, we're not. But like you must have played cricket or footy before you came into the baseball, surely. Like before,
Yeah,
forget
so-
baseball. Let's just go into your like.
So as a youngster, soccer was my first sport. Actually, no, baseball was, T-ball was, but
Because that's great for
Soccer.
my second question.
yeah. Yeah, played soccer at Marbury Vista from under 7s to under 15s.
Yep.
And that's when I first hurt my knee.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Because I've got written down here because like obviously your speed
Yeah.
and your running style
Yeah.
surely promoted you other sports because
always been
that,
slow.
but that shuffle
Believe it or not.
but no hang on a second but what everybody knows is played with Brandon Diplock, the guys are laughing, that shuffle, man, where your body is and your legs are just like, so obviously had a pretty good running coach when you were young. No,
Yeah.
A penguin taught him.
So-
John Penguin.
Nah.
so
Yeah, no.
so that I just wanted to bring that in because a lot of people pay me some good money to bring that in.
Yeah.
But what I
Keep
want
the
to talk,
sponsors happy.
what I want to talk about, how did you find like I asked all the Aussie guys, like how did you find baseball, man?
As a youngster, Mum wanted to get me into sport. Mum and Dad wanted to get me into sport as early as I could, and T-ball was one of the earliest sports you could get into.
Sure.
Greatest garden in
Nice garden.
Greatest
So-
garden in South Australia.
Drive past there in the morning, get the coffee, smell the aroma. Yeah. Day in, day out.
Yep. So how did you find it, mate?
All right, so I started in NEP's organisation. It was all the schools, so I played for represented Australia. Well, I wore green and gold. That's about as close as I get. So green and gold from the Marbury Primary School.
My price
Yep. We had Roger Prime, as one of my coaches back in the
really?
day. Yep.
God, he's
Back,
everywhere.
back
old
before
Rog.
he was a Dodger.
Yeah.
If you can remember a time before then.
When he's played like over
Yeah.
300 games for
Yeah.
like what two different
Yep.
clubs, so he's
Yep.
probably travelled.
He was only 70 then, so, and he was really tall.
Nice.
Keep going, Rog.
Keep going, Rog. We love you, Rog.
Wish you a quick recovery, Rog. We love
yeah,
you, mate.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine Rod's tall
Yes, yeah,
Can
strapping.
you?
because he's got a tall attitude.
Yeah.
He fires up for me all the time.
Yep. So he's one of my first coaches, and then there was a bankers like under 15s competition, progressed to. Danon and Burnsy all played in that.
Here come the names.
Yeah, that's it.
you
So
go,
dropping the
mate.
names. Yep, they all played in that, and saw Moses, and I was a young, probably year 5, so maybe 12 years old,
Yep.
playing this under 15 competition. These guys were giants,
Yeah, yeah.
and just loved it.
But you were throwing back in those days.
No,
and
no,
all
no,
that
no,
stuff?
no, 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 I was a little fella.
Little fella. Yeah.
I was probably 60 kilos until year 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had a late growth spurt.
60 kilos, but
Yeah.
that's a big.
Ringing wet.
That's a big young kid. So when did you get your first game in the senior ranks of the Dodgers?
So then, well, Dodgers started in, what was it? When did Dodgers start? 96? No,
No, I reckon you're 90s.
90?
Right?
Yeah, I
90,
reckon
around
90s,
90,
Yeah,
yep.
I reckon I've got 90s down.
Yep, I started in under 14 Div
Mid-
3,
mid-noughties?
so the lowest grade of the club that was there, all right? And we had a group, Dodgers first year. I had no idea about, all the seniors stuff,
Yeah.
but played under 14 Div 3, and I've played pretty much every grade on the way up to Div 1, and then on the way back down now.
So
Yeah.
you'd lost a knee at that stage?
So first one was 16. See, I was 16 years old. I was playing soccer and I hurt my knee and I didn't think it was that bad. And then
I'm trying to think of the year. The year that you did your first knee.
so I was 16, so I was probably 90, 95.
Yeah, 95. That's what I
95,
got.
yep.
95.
Yep, 95. So then I filled in for
5,
mates.
8 and 3.
Mates
always
footy-
seem to come around.
Mates footy
so-
team, Campbelltown McGill. And I was playing on the fullback and being a smart ass running off him, being young, and then I just got clothesline, bang, by 2 guys, and my knee just went
fold up.
crack. Yeah, being an inexperienced footy player, thinking I had a bit of speed, but everyone knows I don't.
No, because we talked about you.
Yeah, we've got that covered. And yeah, I went down, and pretty much that was my first recon.
So, okay,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right. Left or right? Which one was
That's right. That's right. And then 2 weeks later, I was out of surgery. I was on crutches. I was going to watch my team play a Challenge Cup semi-final, which is big in the soccer. And they just got a red card, and someone else was away that game. So they had 9 players. I said to the coach, "Can I just stand in goals?"
No
Yeah,
way.
on my crutches. So I begged them.
How did they how would they now? Can you imagine in this environment now?
Yeah.
A kid comes to you, you're coaching now.
Yeah.
I'm out of 2 weeks out of operation. Just let me sit at first base and let me catch the ball.
I'll just stand there. So you get more people up forward, so you get a chance of winning.
So you only kicked 11 goals.
So the coach went for it, and there was a penalty right at the end of the match.
Oh, no.
And I
If you
just
say you saved it, I'm out of here.
nah, unfortunately I didn't. I fell over to make it look like I tried, but
Threw the crutches in the air.
I wasn't allowed to crutches, unfortunately. But yeah, that was probably why my knees are so knackered, because the rehabs are
Yeah.
it's another story.
So we go into your senior baseball now. You've had a pretty good senior career.
Yep, enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it?
Yep.
So you've had a few flags in the senior career?
Had one,
Oh, okay.
just one.
And what was that one?
Actually I got a bit of proof.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was trying to prompt him.
Yep. So DR, if you're watching, this is the one you didn't get.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, nice work.
This is one that
That's
we
good.
actually.
And I've actually
we stole off the
I've actually got crushed DR in a Div 2 final, and it was a clean sweep too.
Yeah, so you didn't know my name DR before, but now, yeah.
Oh.
So
That's
yeah,
got red, white, and blue on it.
yeah. No, that stopped Kenzie getting the clean sweep of Div 1, 2, and 3 that year.
Yeah, nice.
And it was the first. All the group was together. We had a great blend of older guys and younger guys at the club that year. We had Chris Horn, Matt Phillips, real young guys coming through, and then we had the Dave Petmans, Danans, myself, and
And that was
Joel.
2011, 2012?
yep, That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It was the best feeling, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep, Rudy.
So how was the year that year? You dominated that year, or you were?
No, we won it from 5th. So we just scraped into finals, and every game we were down. So we played Glenelg in the first game.
And back in these days, you're back pitching.
Yeah, I was throwing.
Yeah,
Yep. I started each of the games of the finals through about 7 or 8 on at 8, 8 and 9, 8, 9 and 8 or something like that. And then Jared Hardman come through and relieved all the games.
Yeah, nice.
Did a great job.
Yep.
But like we played Glenelg and they were just talking. Yeah. We're gonna next week when we play in the ground in the prelim. We're gonna and Scotty Charlton come out and hit this home run that just sailed over the fence, and they just we had an import over at first baseline, and it was like they went so quiet. It was the best feeling.
Let me hold that medal for a little while.
Ooh,
It might be
Absolutely.
significant later.
So it's the highest one.
It's a premiership. That's a premiership trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't take it away
you
from
can't
us.
take that, man. That's gold. There we
great
go.
team effort.
That's
There you
very
go.
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then you went into obviously later in the year you went into Div 1 and Div 2 and all that sort of stuff. So how'd you fare in the Div 1s and Div 2s?
Yeah, I loved it. Loved the competition.
Yep.
We used to wakeboard every single Saturday and then come back broken and then pitch and, and play
Pitch on
baseball on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was a life. We had a boat between us and unfortunately the two went together,
Yep.
living two lifestyles.
Where'd you do your river racing? Where was that?
Young husband, Scotty, you familiar with the area?
Yep. Just maybe a little bit. Yeah, we've got a shack down there.
Beautiful.
The mother and father
It's a
got the
good
shack
spot,
down
isn't
there.
it?
Yeah, it's a
Good
great
spot. Yep. We lived down there every single Friday night after work. We took up the boat and camped out at the caravan park there, and next morning we're there and just skiing all day. It's fantastic. And packed the boat up, drove back.
Beats Bay Route, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
But so how'd that go with your baseball? Did that affect your baseball a little bit, you reckon?
I dare say it didn't help it.
But you had a good career through your Div 1 career?
Oh, I peaked during the Dodger dark ages. So we had some tough years. Like
Yeah.
the Dodgers. We lost pretty much every game one season. We went 36-0, and I pitched probably 80-90% of those games.
Because I got a stat here that you're one of the only players to ever pitch nearly a full season in Div 1 baseball. So I think it's 38 games, and you're close to nearly starting every damn game.
It was
Is that a true stat?
It was, unfortunately, which didn't help me. It was probably 3/4 of the way through the season. My elbow just started hanging, just dying. And It was like a slow death.
How old were you then?
That would have been 22, 23.
Yeah, and it was already sore.
Yep. But just the workload, Hey, are you feeling all right? Yeah, I'm feeling all right. I'll go again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because we had a few players and they had really bad injuries, and you can never say no.
No, and I don't think you.
A beer to a pitch, it's all the same.
I had a mate when I first started where I'm working now at the moment, and we worked out we played baseball. I was obviously playing Div 6 and you were playing, and he goes, "What the fuck's the wrong with the pitcher in Div 4? I said, "What are you talking about, mate?" He goes, "Mate, he strikes you out and he always smiles at you." I said, "Who are you talking about?" He goes, "That Brandon Diplock." And I'm like, "Nah, he's not been." He thought you were some arrogant bloke that just. I said, "No, that's just Diplock. He just smiles all the time." He goes, "He struck me out so many damn times, and yet every time I look at him after I've struck out, he's smiling." I said, "Dude, he's the only man that I've ever seen. I've never seen him with not a smile on his face. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that? Where do you get that smile?"
Man. Small things. Just happy. I'm out there. I'm out there playing with my mates. I'm out there doing what I love doing.
It's just the love of the game.
It
and
is.
You're just happy to be
I
out
smile when I get a home run hit off
So
me.
there's no-
Hey, that was a freaking good hit.
So there's no
Yeah.
arrogance about it. It's just,
There's
just
no arrogance.
you just-
Nah.
I look at him like the corn-fed country boy that's just happy to be there, man.
He's
He's,
a-
just
he's a-
smiling all the
He's
time.
a sparky, mate. He's always got a charge in him. He's always good.
It's got a lot to do with playing, and you're losing 36 in a row, loss to Div 1. If we didn't get
'Cause I got
mercy,
thinking you-
we counted that as a win.
Yeah, because I got a statement. You said
we had to.
losing's important. Losing's
Learning
important.
to lose is important, Like, hey, winning's great, but losing well is very important, Holding yourself high and
Because you
taking out what you can take out of a game.
obviously coach kids now and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so that's important for you to actually have to learn to lose
Yeah.
and take it on the chin and get out there the next week.
A lot of kids that are bad sports and can't handle it. It's like, guys, you got to settle down and just enjoy being out there, and you try to pass that on to the kids and
Yeah,
so
nice.
enjoy the wins, but learn from the losses. It's what sport's about.
And like I've got a bit of an indulgent question as a half-assed pitcher. How many pitches do you throw? This is Jordan's question, by the way.
Okay. Got a fast from over top. I got a fast curve, slider, splitty. Yep, that's about it. On the side, I've got a.
That's it. Hang on a sec. But when I throw from this angle,
He's a fucking road thrower.
I got a fastball, curveball, slider, and if I'm feeling really cocky, a splitty from down low, which could go anywhere. But sometimes you just feel like you got to throw it. And
so Geordie, at the end of the day, he's got a shitload. All right. So one question I've never asked is best individual game you've ever played. Like, forget all the niceties. The best individual. Have you ever thrown like the no hitter, or you've ever just the best individual game you've ever played?
Got a 6 innings no hitter, and then Matt Phillips, if you're watching, thanks very much. And he goes, Dipper, did you know you're on a no hitter? I'm like, thank you. You've probably ruined it now. And then I'm pretty
he was
sure.
playing for you?
Yeah, he was playing for us.
No
and then the next batter
way.
come up, a little bleeder to shallow right, just over second
what was
base's
his name?
head. Matt Phillips, thank you very much.
Phillips.
Yeah.
That was you. That
I was as close
that
as I
was
got
the-
to no hitter.
that-
Yeah.
but that
And it
was
was
the
a
best-
7 inning aggro game too. So
yeah.
I almost got there.
But that was the best individual, like no home runs, batting, and all that sort of stuff. Where you played just the best game you've ever played. Like where you went.
It'd have to be
Damn.
the final series when we played against Glenelg. You know, it was so
Petey-
good.
Petey's cheering in the
Glenelg
background.
was our grand final, like,
Yeah.
and then we backed it up against Goodwood the week after, and then we weren't meant to beat them either. We come from behind again, and then Kensington. You know, the next game. But you know, that was the best series, the best group of games that I've ever played.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So we're ready to go in the final 5.
I want to know what's around his neck. There's something there.
Got some, yeah.
Well, hang on. I heard a couple of chins.
Yeah, a couple of chins. I actually, this is a little secret of mine. I don't like to tell many people, but I'll never leave home without my bling.
Oh. Okay. Holy shit, people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, hang on a second.
I think he weighs 82 kilos now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I got my kids with me.
Walk us through.
All right. So
First one.
started off way back in
You don't need to read them. You know what they are.
2003. I got the Div 2 caps. It was a year after
Good
we
job, mate.
won the flag. A year before we
job.
won the flag, I think. So.
Yeah.
No, it was a few years before, but yeah, that was good.
Yeah, nice.
And then I got the Div 3 one.
They look like they're getting heavier, Ashman.
In 2015, we won the Div 3.
I think there's more to come.
And then got the Div 5. Yep. And then the Div 4. So it was a.
All right.
4 tiny,
Yeah.
tiny.
I'm a late bloomer.
Late bloomer?
Come towards
Good
it.
job.
Nice,
Good
nice,
job.
nice. So now we're going to the final 5.
Yeah, bang into the
just
final
knock,
5.
knock it off. All right. So
There's a rumour we might have another cap.
I heard a knock at the door before. So yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. But all right, final 5. Best sporting moment.
Best sporting moment was obviously going to be the grand final. They had everything that day. We had everything. We had, you know, Rudy. Well, I'll finish off with that. But we were down. Game was tied. I threw her this curveball, and this guy running on third base. This guy hit it and just bobbled it like it was a perfect bunt, but he had the slug. And then Bodie Williams comes through with a bare hand, bang, first base, got the out, bang, bang play, got the out, and that got us out of the innings, got us out of trouble, which we would have fallen behind.
So your best sporting moment is one of your teammates coming.
Absolutely, it's a team game.
That's great.
It's a team game.
fucking
Yep.
beauty.
And then Rudy hit the bomb straight after that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had a 15 pitch or 16 pitch at bat, just foul. And then
Because you were swinging for the fence.
And then I finally go, is there another fence? Kensington. That's the only way.
Yeah, nice.
And then I drew a walk, and then Rudy, second pitch, bang, over the fence, home run, win the game.
That's gold, man.
It
All right.
doesn't get better.
Most embarrassing sporting moment.
Well, it's something I'll get reminded about probably weekly, if not fortnightly. We'll play Norths. I was pitching. I was having a great game. I think I threw 11, 12 strikeouts.
Oh, hang on a second. The special guest is starting to laugh. We'll bring him out in a minute, mate. The special guest is
the
starting
memories
to
are coming- memories are coming
He actually
back,
moved
yeah.
the table. He was giggling that much.
I think we were looking good for finals that year, and then Norths hadn't won many games at all that year, and then they found my kryptonite. They put a chick up to bat. I'm like, I haven't thrown against a female for
Lenny.
20
Lenny,
years.
it's all our kryptonite.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do I do? I don't want to hit her. It'll be embarrassing. So I threw my best pitch, and
You didn't throw your, but you just.
no, it was my best pitch. I don't go easy on
And she
anyone.
still crashed it.
And I've never heard a bat explode. She broke her bat.
Jeez.
It was a one hopper off the fence. It would
Oh,
have.
she hit you to the fence.
Yeah. This is legit.
What div is
This
this?
This is Div 3.
Oh,
This is
Who
Div
did she
3.
play for? Goodwood or something?
North. Yep.
Sorry.
I think she
missed
might have
that
been.
one.
She might have been a marshal. I'm not sure. I can't quite remember. I haven't seen her again.
Yeah.
But I get reminded
And you were
weekly.
playing at North's ground?
Yeah. Yep.
And she took you to the fence.
And we lost the game. We lost the game. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. So
damn.
there you go.
Well, that
Damn.
that
Yeah.
does hurt, doesn't
That
it?
hurts.
Like,
All right. One sporting moment that you wish you could take back.
Wish you could take back. Oh, it's probably every pitch on the Div 5 grand final after Moose threw an absolute blinder. One of the best games I've ever seen Moose throw.
15 bunt,
Yeah.
15 bunts.
and then just losing the game.
Hey, shout
Yeah,
out to
that
Moose
was-
too, man. 60-year-old doing what you do, man.
And I
That's
heard he's
awesome.
coming back.
Yes, I've heard
He's coming
rumours.
back.
Heard rumours.
I'll look forward to seeing you again, Moose.
Yes.
Yeah. He was
Good
one of
man.
Well,
Good looking man.
Oh.
So you think you could,
lucky Gloria.
you want to take that? You think you should take that back? You just didn't
Oh.
show you didn't have it that day.
Just didn't,
No.
it's pitching. It's pitching. Yeah.
All right. If you had to bury a body,
Oh.
here we go.
I just
4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Who and why?
I just saw Greg's interview the other day, and he's basically stolen it off me. I've been thinking about this since I love
You
it
take
past.
Greg's wife.
Yeah. Plan. You got. we were drinking around my place one day, and it was drinking quite heavy.
Why do I
And
think he's
in the-
actually going to tell us about burying a body?
In. This is not gonna lie. Is it?
we can cut a little bit, but if the police are involved,
My wife works with police. Sam Tibbetts moved this moss rock, from up in our garden, and it ended up down on our bottom lawn. And next morning I wake up and I go, wow, how did this move here? Like, did aliens? This is like Stonehenge, like the big rocks, how they get in place. And it was down there, and I spoke to Dana the next day, and I go, do you know anything about this? And he's like, I think you might ring Tibbo. So I had to get him next day to give me a hand getting it back up there because I couldn't move it.
Yeah.
It was huge. So, he would be a fair asset.
so do it.
He would be, oh, well, no. Greg obviously would have ordered the hit on the body. So he would have
Greggy would have organised that for sure.
he would have been instrumental in it. Joel owes me so many favours,
But Joel's not going to be able to dig or move a body, dude.
No, but
What's he going to do?
he's a rat. He's a rat, and rats dig.
Oh.
He'll be quick at filling in the sand, I reckon.
Yeah. He owes me so many favours. He'll dig for me.
See, that's a long
You know-
answer, dude. Come on now.
Good boy, Maz. Good boy.
Burnsy's super fit. Like he could dig for 14 hours. He's done triathlons and
Burner could dig
Yeah.
16 bodies.
I reckon
exactly.
I reckon the police are going to find this pretty quick with all the people you've got going here, dude.
417 mil road. Come get us now.
Yeah.
Oh, give us an hour to have a few beers.
Roxby Downs rang Burnsy and said, "Can you open cut our mine?" he's just that fit. It was energizer bunny.
Let us
But-
get Brooks in there as well.
But you can't go past. You bond with the catcher, all right?
Oh.
Rudy Sharp was like growing up, and in my best years, he was the one I was throwing to every single week in, week out. And you get a real strong bond with the catcher. So, if you're going to instill, the trust of burying a body into someone, hey, I'll have him any day of the week.
Catches are
Nice.
good, aren't they,
Mhm.
Stinger? Yes.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Lenny and Johnny. Right, the last one, and this is a big one.
Yeah.
Best dodger you ever played with?
Oh, wow. I'd like to play with you, Brandon.
All right, everybody. I put him up to. I actually put him up to that.
I didn't want to say
He
that.
did want to say it. It took me 2 beers outside
Yes,
before
he
we got
did.
here. So I'm sorry. That was all me. So sorry, Dan. He can tell you. And he was supposed to say Brandon Diplock, not look at himself and actually smile at himself. All right. So the best dodger you ever played with?
It's got to be Sharpie. It's got to be Sharpie. He was a rock, man. If you're having a bad game, he builds you up. He's a general. Catchers are generals, and if you can, they keep the team going. They keep you going.
Nice.
It's everything. It's everything. So
Yeah, nice.
No,
That's beautiful,
Sharpie.
man. That's beautiful. But deep down, he meant Brandon Diplock. He meant that. So that's awesome. Thank you for coming in. Ashman's getting a quick beer.
Thanks, guys, very much.
Now, I can hear the rattle.
Yeah. We'll do that in a sec. But we're gonna say thank out to everybody. Like, much appreciate this. Season 10 done it. Oh, sorry, season 10.
Episode 10
done and dusted.
1,
Yes. I want to thank the sponsors.
Sure, SOS Safety Science and Baozan Home Maintenance. Also, in season 2, we're gonna run a different video line. At the moment, it's costing 7 or 8 hours for Reece every Saturday, Sunday, Monday to get it up by Wednesday. So we're gonna go to a different format. We're gonna actually film in the format that we video in, and we're gonna have a bit of a front bar type setup for the new guests. So
it's gonna look amazing.
We've learned a lot out of the first 10. We've, everybody that's come through has been fantastic. And Dipper, thank you, mate.
Amazing.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, appreciate it.
Dip. And next we've got a little Dipper ask for the little episode next. So we've got a little extra on the end of this episode.
Well, there's plenty of Caps medalists here tonight, and that's one of the reasons I grabbed one of them, because I feel fairly insignificant. So in a minute, we've got the great Steve Brooks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dipper. Good on you, mate.
You guys,
Cheers.
love what you're doing.